Good evening and welcome. Tonight, a heated exchange on Capitol Hill is raising serious questions about the line between public service and political promotion, and whether taxpayer dollars meant for border security and disaster resilience are being redirected for partisan gain.
The chair now recognizes the ranking member of the entire committee with an excellent sense of patience. The gentlelady from Connecticut, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman and ranking member. Madam Secretary, earlier this year, the administration unveiled a thinly veiled propaganda ad about border security. This is about $200 million paid for by American taxpayers, I might add. And the ads are supposedly about border security, but honestly, if you see the ad, it's like a political ad, and all of us know what political ads look like. Even the conservative Cato Institute says the ads are a perfect example of wasteful government spending that DOJ should cut. I also might add that, and this is a direct quote, and Madam Secretary, it says that earlier this year that President Trump had instructed you on how to fashion the campaign. He said, and again I quote, "I want you in the ads. I want your face in the ads," Noem recalled at the Conservative Political Action Conference, adding that Trump told her for the first ad, quote, "I want you to thank me for closing the border." Now, that's politics, quite frankly, at its worst. I understand that on April 30th, your department awarded an additional $6.7 million to a political consulting company called People Who Think, bringing their total award for this ad to $11.6 million. Your department has also awarded $35.5 million for this ad to a company called Safe America Media. And my understanding is that you used funding originally appropriated for CBP and USCIS for these awards. This sounds like a payout to Republican political consultants to fund ads that do more to tout the president than to secure the border. How were the contracts awarded? Competitive process? If so, why is USA Spending say that the contracts were given an exclusion from the DOJ group's limitation on spending awards? This is $200 million. Somebody just talked about billboards. This is a $200 million ad campaign taking the money from CBP and USCIS to promote a political advantage. It's really kind of the height of arrogance. You're looking for more money from us to do that, but you're going to take a portion of the money that we have given you and you're going to spend it on political advertising. I mean, that really is, in Yiddish, the word is chutzpah. It really is that you engaged in here. So I know you're going to tell me.
Would you like me to answer?
Yeah, I would. And yes. I foresee that you're going to tell me that these were all competitively bid.
They were.
Et cetera.
And through the exact same process as any other ad campaign would be done. Absolutely. And I would tell you that it's not $200 million and that President Trump was very clear from the very beginning that he recognized that the fake news in this country was not going to tell the truth of what the work had been done at the border to secure this country. And these ads aren't only playing in the United States, they're playing in other countries where we had the largest invasion coming into this country
disagree on the policy.
And overwhelmingly, if you look at the data on the ground in these countries where these ads have been
with all due respect,
the flow has stopped.
With all due respect.
Even when I was in Mexico and having
Excuse me, Madam
conversations.
Secretary, the time is mine. With all due respect, this is a political ad campaign, and let's just not try to sugarcoat it. I had just somebody talk about billboards, and you talking about how use of taxpayers' dollars. These are taxpayers' dollars as well. Let me move to the program I mentioned earlier. This is the BRIC program. In early April, FEMA cut the Building Resilient Infrastructure and Communities program, claiming, and I quote, "Under Secretary Noem, DHS is eliminating waste, fraud, and abuse," end quote. When the committee staff asked for evidence of waste, fraud, or abuse in this program, or the authority used to end the program, FEMA said that the due diligence for these projects can take a long time and failed to give examples that met GAO's definition of waste, fraud, or abuse. The legal authority you used to cancel most of these projects was also not provided. And I'm just going to make this flat-out statement. You do not have, nor does the president have, the legal authority to abrogate what the Appropriations Committee appropriates. It's the power of the purse. It's in the Constitution. And I think if I heard right in the last couple of days, the president wasn't sure that we should abide by the Constitution. But we tried to abide by the Constitution, those of us who raised our right hand and said we will abide by the Constitution. There is no legal authority. There is no inherent authority to claim the appropriations funds can be used for other than what they were appropriated for. I don't know that you can. Basic questions from your agency on essential programs that the communities represent or rely on. You all can't. You should just say waste, fraud, abuse, and you think that that covers it. Well, Madam Secretary, I will tell you it doesn't. We're going to challenge that, and you have no authority.
References that we are operating under the authority that the Department of Homeland Security
You
has.
have no authority to abrogate these funds. It's
These
the
BRIC grants are
prerogative
being
of the
reevaluated
Appropriations
to make
Committee.
sure that they are being
The power
spent
of the purse
appropriately to which
resides
you all
here
directed they be
and not there. Keep it in mind because it is the Constitution of the United States. Thank you.
very familiar
I'm
with.
happy to have this conversation take place off the clock, but now we're going to move to the gentleman.
At the center of the controversy is Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, grilled by the ranking member of the full committee from Connecticut during a tense oversight hearing. What began as a discussion about border security quickly evolved into a broader debate about government spending, constitutional authority, and the power of the purse. Before we go any further, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss in-depth breakdowns like this one. These are the moments that shape policy, and we're here to explain what they really mean. The Lawmakers' focus was a massive advertising campaign unveiled earlier this year, a campaign that cost American taxpayers nearly $200 million. Officially, the ads were billed as public information about border security, but critics argue the messaging looked far less like a public service announcement and far more like a campaign ad. According to testimony cited during the hearing, even conservative watchdog groups criticized the ads as wasteful spending. More striking, the ranking member pointed to public remarks in which Secretary Noem herself recalled President Trump instructing her to appear in the ads and personally thank him for closing the border. That detail matters because federal law draws a sharp line between informational government messaging and political advocacy. If you're finding this breakdown helpful so far, take a moment to subscribe. It helps support independent coverage that goes beyond the sound bites. The financial details only intensified the scrutiny. The Department of Homeland Security awarded millions of dollars to political consulting and media firms, including over $11 million to one consulting company and more than $35 million to a media firm tied to the campaign. According to the committee, the funding source was money originally appropriated for Customs and Border Protection and U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services. Secretary Noem defended the spending, insisting the contracts were competitively bid and arguing that the ads were necessary because, in her words, the media would not tell the truth about border enforcement. She also claimed the ads ran internationally and contributed to reduced migration flows. But the ranking member pushed back hard, arguing that effectiveness does not override legality and that taxpayer dollars cannot be used to gain political advantage, regardless of intent. If you're finding this breakdown helpful so far, subscribe now. These debates are not abstract. They affect how your tax dollars are spent. What makes this hearing significant is not just the political clash, but what it reveals about governance in practice. Advertising campaigns, disaster preparedness programs, and border enforcement all sound like separate issues, but they converge around one central question: who decides how public money is used? As this story continues to develop, we will be watching closely to see whether Congress pursues further investigations, whether funding decisions are challenged legally, and how these constitutional questions are resolved. If you want to stay informed as this unfolds, subscribe now and turn on notifications. We'll continue breaking down what matters, why it matters, and how it affects you.